Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're diving back into Treasure Map versus Pizaro and Kuzan for the boss fight and the intrusion with some boosted teams that just use one of the three boosters. So in today's video, I have a team for both the final boss and the intrusion that will include one team with Garp, one team with Kuzan, and the other team with just Coby. So if you guys just pulled one of the three, this video should help you guys out. If it does, put the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. With that said, let's dive in. Alright, so we're going to start it off with just Garp. Starting off with the Kuzan Intrusion. The team looks a little bit like this. That's the team, those are supports, so let's dive on in. Now, Giants and Nami Karina are like a big one that a lot of people are asking replacements for. The Giants, you don't really have too much wiggle room with because you need a character that can get around Special Bind, as well as a character that can get around resilience. But what you can do is you can do some fun stuff with the Momo support on Luffy, but at the same time then you're going to need a bunch of bind removal and all that sort of stuff for the final stage, because it's very interesting that you can't remove bind, which is very, very, very annoying. Sanji on this team, he's kind of like a flex unit. You can definitely replace him with another character that can use some sort of support like Brook, or you can move Brook over onto Nami Karina, and then you can use Vivi or something like that elsewhere. But on stage 2, you need to get around 4 turns of defense up, Special Bind, and 6 turns of resilience, as well as 6 turns of damage reduction. The upside to using Garp on this team is Garp can remove 4 turns of damage reduction. With the help of the Sengoku support, he can get around all 6 turns. The Giants take care of the Special Bind. They do end of turn damage, so you get past the resilience. And wham bam, thank you ma'am, you're off to the races. I actually swap with Nami Karina on this turn as well. That's just going to give you a base attack boost. It's going to give you some G-Orbs, and it's going to make the G-Orbs at a 2.5 times multiplier, rather than that very low 1.5 that they usually have. Very, very nice stuff. On the final stage, there is defense up, threshold, attack down, which is all about 6 turns each, 7 for the threshold. And then you get a full board of block orbs, and then 3 random crewmates get 13 turns of bind. Now, you cannot remove this bind. You definitely want to have a ship that can remove 1 turn of it. You don't need to have the mods for the ship. You just need to get the ship to level 12. So if you have 30 Super Coal lying around, whether it's the Gran Tesoro ship or whether it's the, I think it's the Going Merry that does the bind removal. I'll have to double check that and post it in the description for you guys. But as long as it removes 1 ton of bind, you will be absolutely hunky-dory. Otherwise, it's really hard. Like, the A support helps out a lot. He's 3 tons of bind. But a big problem with this particular treasure map is they really want you to use double Coby, so you get around the 14 turns of bind with using double Coby as your captains. When Coby puts up a territory, he removes 6 turns of it, which is very, very annoying because you need 7 turns of it, but look, it is what it is. Nami Karina basically take care of all of the attack down, defense up, threshold with the help of the Vivi support or the Chopper support, and with that, you can easily take down Kuzan. Luffy's our attack booster as well, so he works out great. Moving on to the Pizaro fight now, this one is a lot easier than the Intrusion. The Intrusion is a massive problem, and a lot of people are going to find it very challenging to build teams for. But the Pizaro fight is actually not too bad. We have a complete flex spot on this particular team. We're utilizing Vivi here, but you can literally replace Vivi with any other point booster. It doesn't matter what it is. Robin, the Psy Robin probably works the best, but you can literally put anything you want here. Like, anything at all. So don't stress if you didn't pick up Exchange Vivi. On turn 2, you're going to get 6 turns of bind on your middle row, and this is where the PK Kuzan comes into play. He's very, very good for this particular stage. Removes all 6 turns of the chain lock, sorry, the bind, and gives us 3 turns of a chain lock. Now, with my particular build, I don't actually have anyone to get around the block orbs, but it doesn't matter too much because we can actually tap through it. You can use the triple special activation of Beppo on this stage as well. I use the VV special because you can't use the VV special on the final stage. This is just going to allow me to get a little bit more damage to burst through with those block orbs. But utilizing Beppo here, we're going to get 3 turns of a color affinity boost, and he's going to boost it twice, which is really, really nice for our Psy characters. And because Alvaro Pizarro is actually a Inth character, we actually have type advantage here as well, so that works out really, really nicely. He has Intimidation for an attack and orb boosting, so you can't really use the Luffy special here. You do want to save that for the final stage, but as you can see, like, the damage numbers, they're pretty high here, so even if you don't have that VV 2.25 conditional, I believe it is, you should still be able to kill. If you have Robin on this team, you can just rotate those orbs into matching anyway, so like that's going to be absolutely hunky-dory. On the final stage, you have to deal with Despair, as well as some more attack down. It's 10 turns of Despair before sockets, and then 9 turns of attack down. Now, Beppo's Sailor gets around 1 turn of attack down, which is great. The Luffy Captain will remove some Despair as well, and then you have the supports of Law and Coby Coby to get around some more attack down. Coby, friend captain, is going to rotate those block orbs. He can remove the damage nullification as well. He gives you a territory, gives you an orb buff. Garp removes the attack down, which is awesome. And then Luffy's going to be our attack booster, and that works out pretty hunky-dory here. So with all of that, the Oniguro support's probably one that a lot of people are going to struggle with. But again, if you just replace Vivi with Robin, you can actually use the Robin special in the final stage, and that will get around some despair for you there. Alright, so if you just pulled Kuzan and you didn't manage to get Garp or Coby, you can build something like this. Starting off with the Kuzan Intrusion. That was the team, those are the supports. Let's dive on in. Once again, we are using Nami Karina and we are using the Giants. Both of these characters, like I said, they are very, very good for this particular intrusion. We just had to sort of tweak the team a little bit and with supports and stuff like that, because we can't obviously bring the free-to-play Kuzan on the final stage and all that fun stuff too. Very, very annoying that they decided to design a treasure map right after giving us a PK unit that is Kuzan and then make one of the treasure map boosters Kuzan. It doesn't make much sense to me, but look, it is what it is. On turn 2, we're going to use the Giants once again. That's going to get around the Special Bind and the Resilience. And then instead of using Garp to get around the damage reduction this time, we have Kuzan to get around the defense up. We're going to use the Beppo triple special activation to get around the damage reduction. You do need triple special activation to get around all 6 turns, so make sure you guys have that maxed out Beppo ready to go. It's great that they make these characters really, really good for these intrusions, but if you guys miss out on a month, you will be punished, which is a bit of a problem that OPTC kind of falls into. We swap with Nami Karina as well, get the 3 turns of the, the 3 turns of base stat boost and then the G-Orb stuff, and then as long as you just tap with the Giants first, they're going to do any type of damage, which allows them to do end of turn damage, which will basically just burst through that resilience. Once you kill Kuzan, he runs away, and then we move into the final stage, and we can basically just use the Nami Karina special once again. Make sure obviously you are Karina, and that way you can remove the defense up, the threshold, and the attack down. And it works out quite nicely. To get around the bind, once again, we are using a level 12 ship. I'm using the Gran Tesoro ship, but I'm pretty confident it's the Going Merry that has the bind in the kit. Again, you don't need the mods, you just need the level 12, which is about 30 Super Cola. A lot of people should have 30 Super Cola at their disposal, unless you are, like, fresh. But if you're fresh, you probably shouldn't be playing New World, if that makes sense. So we have the Ace support to help us out with some bind. Once you use the territory of Coby, his captain ability will kick in and remove another 6 turns. And then, like I said, with Nami Karina, you can basically remove all of the rest of the nasty stuff. If you guys don't have that chopper support, you can use support rare recruit Vivi. It's another option to get around some threshold. Finally, Luffy's our attack booster, and we can just basically burst through good old Kuzan with that. So that was the Kuzan team versus Intrusion Aokiji, or Kuzan I should call him, because he's not actually Aokiji, Kuzan. Moving on to the Pizarro fight now. We do have to obviously tweak this one quite a bit compared to that Garp fight, because we can't use that free-to-play Kuzan on our team. We have to use the Aokiji from the treasure map rare recruits. With that, we basically need a bind remover in that place, and for this particular team, I have put on Nami and Carrot. Now, I did bring in Robin for this team just to show you guys that Robin works just really, really well as another option to get around the block orbs. He's a really, really good option to get around some attack down, and she's a really good option to get around some attack down and the despair on the final stage. Because we don't have Garp anymore, we need an attack down remover, and Robin is kind of like the next best thing. But honestly, pulling Garp is a little bit more beneficial for you. But if you pulled Kuzan, look, you can still do some stuff. You can still get a lot of points, and obviously he's going to help you hit the 10 mil nice and fast. On turn 2, you can swap with Nami Carrot, use their special to remove the bind and the block orbs, which is really, really nice. And with literally just their chain boundary, you can easily kill here. Like, it's kind of free. You don't even really need to spam Beppo. You can if you want to, but there's just really no need to. You can just sort of use him once on the final stage in the earlier of days. On the final stage against Pizarro, he is going to have the damage nullification for 2 turns, which Coby's going to take care of. He gives you the despair and the attack down. Again, using the Luffy captain here is great because you get around a lot of the despair. That way you don't have to worry about it too much. But with obviously Robin on the team now, Robin takes care of pretty much everything on this final stage. Again, she does the block orb, she does the attack down, and she does the despair. Kuzan can help out with the despair as well. So that's another really, really good option. So you don't really need Robin all that much. You can just use like another attack down remover that's maybe a little bit higher boosting, but Robin has access to the Frankie support too, which works out like ridiculously well. Super class with Coby, special with Coby removes the damage nullification. You have color affinity with Beppo, attack boosting with Luffy, and a super type as well. So you should have plenty of damage here. I don't imagine this team is going to be failing anytime soon. It'll definitely get you well past the 10 million points. At that particular point, you can kind of just play to your heart's content, depending on how many materials you guys want to build up for your account. So that is the Kuzan team with no other boosters, getting it done very nicely. Again, the Pizaro fight is nothing compared to the ambush. But let's move on to the single Coby team. All right, so finally we have the single Coby team. This one's a weird one because like a lot of people were asking me to put together this particular team, and look, I got very lucky in pulling Coby on a recommended step yesterday. So lucky for you guys, I can actually put this team out for you. I was really shocked that a lot of people were struggling with building with just Coby. Building with just Coby was like the easiest by far. Like, it was ridiculous easy. If you have double Coby, like you can just throw on a Luffy or a Garp on the team and activate his superclass, and then his specials, and it just helps out like tenfold with all these fights. Like it's wild. But on turn 2 against Kuzan, he has the damage reduction, he has the defense up. With this particular team, like I said, you want to use the super class of Coby to remove the special bind himself. Use the special so you get the territory, and then you just remove the 7 turns of special bind. You're running 2 Cobys, so it's like 12 turns of special bind, which is crazy. It's like wild. Beppo obviously being boosted is great. He removes all the damage reduction, and then you just need to bring any other unit that can remove defense up. You also need to get around resilience though, so that's why we have the Momo support on Luffy. Make sure you use Luffy before Hina. You guys will see like I do a really quick cut here, taking me back right before using the Hina special. You want to use Luffy first, because that way you get an attack boost, Momo activates, and you get end of turn damage. Then you can swap with Nami Karina to get the 3-turn base stats, and then you can use Hina. A lot of little shenanigans that I needed to make sure I did in the right order to make sure that this team actually functions well. But as you can see, like it's not challenging when you have double Coby, man. Like double Coby makes this like absolute cakewalk. When you start doing like Coby and Kuzan shenanigans, or if you're missing like Nami Karina, like that's when shit might get a little bit hard. But yeah, other than as for right now, like it's actually not too challenging, like not too bad at all. But on the final stage, once you use the super class and the special of Coby, you're going to get around all of that very annoying bind, and then you're kind of left with the damage reduction, the threshold, and the attack down. I don't really like understand what they wanted you to do for this particular fight. I think they wanted to use the sword donnies, and then like maybe use Garp as well. No, they can't use Garp because there's a rare quick Garp. I'm pretty sure they want you to use the sword donnies, and they take care of a lot of that sort of stuff. But Nami Karina obviously showing their worth as always, removes the damage, the threshold, the defense up, and the attack down. And with that, like it's just absolutely free. So hopefully you guys have the pieces to the puzzle, and you should be able to get it done that way. Moving on to the final fight against Alvaro Pizarro. This one was even easier. With double Coby, just the final boss fight is just way easier than the intrusion. Like the intrusion is just super cancerous compared to this particular fight. But we have Robert on the team once again. We are bringing the free-to-play Kuzan now, and then we've just slapped on a Luffy because like we need a Luffy for the Coby super type. That's very, very important. Whether you use Onsen Luffy, whether you use Sai Luffy, it's not going to matter all that much. The point difference is so minuscule that just using the Sai Luffy is just going to give you more damage, and it's going to last you a little bit longer. But on turn 2, we are going to get a full board of block orbs, and we're going to get binds. You can use the Kuzan special here to remove the bind, or you can just use the super class and the special of Coby. Both of them are going to take care of the binds. I would recommend using both of them on this turn anyway. And the upside to using Coby is you kind of don't need to worry about the double special of Kuzan. But if you want to use the double special Kuzan like I just did, like go for gold. Like nothing's stopping you. It's just going to give you an extension of all of this like end of turn healing shenanigans that you guys can do. Coby gives you an orb buff. It does get reduced by 1 turn, but that's okay. He's a 2-turn orb booster. And it's just going to allow you to kill this Pizarro stage very nicely. On the final stage, you do need to get around Despair, attack down. There is the damage nullification and another full set of block orbs. But again, this is where Robin is just fantastic because Robin can just take care of basically everything on this final stage. You will need some support help just to get around some extra turns of the Despair, but that's where we have Sanji and that's where we have Frankie and Law for the attack down removal as well. So with those particular supports, you can basically get around a lot of it. The Frankie is free to play as well that goes on Robin, so make sure to head over to the Recollective Archive arenas and pick him up because he's got a great support, and that way you can just remove all that attack down there too. You can use a ship as well. Gran Tesoro will definitely work, just like we were using with the bind removal on the previous sort of fights. But when you're running double Coby, you kind of don't really need that extra support. With that, you have an attack boost, you have an orb buff, you have color affinity, you have chain lock, you have a lot of buffs for this particular team. And again, I don't really see it failing anytime soon. But that's going to wrap up the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, but like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Make sure to head down there, hit the bell notification, because we will be uploading the combination team. So if you guys are missing certain boosters, but you have like double combinations, make sure to hit that bell notification so you don't miss out on those, or head over to those particular videos, which I'll leave in the link in the description. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Loot!